Heading down I-35 here and heading toward Des Moines, Iowa. And there's a few days left in the Iowa muzzleloader season. I just pulled off the interstate to get some gas. Heading back out to my buddy Joe Loomis's place. I missed a big buck out there a couple weeks ago. Like I said, there was a few days of the season left. I'm going to try and even the score. Joe's been seeing this deer, that same deer, coming to a standing cornfield that we hunted earlier. Saw him last night, in fact. So I'm going out for another trip and another go around with this big 9-pointer. Actually, he's an 8. He's got a broken brow on one side. And I'm by myself. Going to run the camera, do the hunt, basically all by myself. Kind of enjoy the challenge. So you stay tuned and see if we can get it done. You're watching In Pursuit TV. I decide to spend the first evening of my return trip hunting from the ground blind where I missed the big buck a couple weeks earlier. It's obvious from the very start that this is going to be an action-packed hunt.
There's already a couple 2.5-year-olds in the corn. There might be more in there because they can come down through the woods and get right into the corn. I would never see them. But now there's a smaller buck coming out up here. Maybe there's a bigger one behind him.
Now, as you can see, there are a bunch of up-and-coming bucks on Joe's property. And at the end of the day, this great-looking young 10-pointer walks out into the cornfield. As you could see, I was literally covered up with bucks on the very first evening of my Iowa hunt. Just a few minutes before daylight the next morning, I make my way to a ground blind in a different spot. And look what's already there waiting for me when I first crawl into the blind. You guessed it. It's the very same buck I missed on my first hunt with Joe. Fortunately, there's already enough light for filming, but I know the buck isn't going to stand there forever. So I hurry to get into position for the shot.
That's him. I'm going to take him. Let me explain what happened here. It's about 7 a.m., a little after 7, maybe 7:15. I don't normally hunt mornings here on Joe's property, but I only got 2 days to hunt. And Joe told me last night, sneak up to that top blind because maybe you'll catch some deer coming back out of the corn, standing corn. And I get here, and the buck we've been after, the buck that I missed a couple weeks ago, is standing 120 yards out in front of the blind chewing his cud. I think it was a good shot. It felt good. I couldn't tell because of the smoke and the recoil if I hit him. But that's the deer we've been after. I got a lot of pre-roll of him from different hunts and from this hunt simply because it took me so long to do everything by myself. But I'm going to let it get a little lighter. I'm going to let things settle down. I saw some antlerless deer come back, kind of looking down below the hill like they were looking down at something. Maybe he fell. I don't know. Hopefully, third time's a charm, third encounter with him. You stay tuned.
I went up and checked the spot where I shot the buck earlier this morning. It's a couple hours later now, and went down and got Joe. And we could see him basically from the edge of the field. He made it just like maybe 50 yards. It was a perfect heart shot. You got to see this deer. Come on along. This is a big, big deer. Big old deer. Huge body on him. This is a mature Iowa whitetail. Look at this. There's the broken brow. They say the third time's a charm. As I said earlier today, it was the charm. This is the third encounter I've had with this deer. Look at that. He's actually got a broken G4 on his right that's busted off a little bit. We saw this deer on our first hunt here, and I passed him. And after I passed him, I realized I made a mistake. And usually you don't get a second chance. I got a second chance and missed him. Got a deflect on my bullet. Look at that big Roman nose. But I had a two-day window here in early January, and my buddy Joe Loomis, who's running the camera right now, said, you know, if you can make it back, it might almost be worth coming back even for 2 days. He's been seeing the deer on a standing cornfield, actually a different spot. And another thing we did today is something we don't normally do here at Joe's, is hunting mornings. I shot him in the morning. I came up and got in the blind this morning, and as you saw, he was already out there, standing on the edge of the trees, chewing his cud. He stood there long enough for me to get in position to make a 120-yard shot, and here he is. The last hunt of the year for In Pursuit with Greg Miller. What a way to end it. Here in Western Iowa with my good friend Joe Loomis. Joe, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.